Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Girls That Game, our monthly podcast where we talk about the games we love to play, our streaming experience, and everything in between. I'm AlteredCalyx. To the right is the amazing featuringFlewt, and together we are Girls That Game.
Woohoo! Hi, Calyx.
Hey Flute, I feel like you're living like a secret life. I have no idea what you're up to. I used to be able to, see that you're logged in on stream and what game you're dabbling into, but I don't know what you're doing. I'm like, what's she up to? And I know you didn't give up on gaming, so
No, I felt like quite the hermit, if I'm being perfectly honest. But I think I've needed a breakaway. I started a hiatus because I was like, I'm feeling so overwhelmed, just with everything going on. And I was a little bit scared, actually, like the first month, kind of when we talked during our last podcast, I wasn't missing streaming at all. I was I'm enjoying just sitting down, blobbing with my, MMO game and not thinking about anything.
I get it.
But I've definitely started getting to the point where I'm like, I think I'd like to start streaming. But it's not yet, but I'm getting to the point of like, I miss it. And there are games that I'm looking at in the coming up for the later half of this year that I'm like, I'm going to love streaming that. I'm really looking forward to that. So I think it really was just a bit of burnout and I've needed a break and it's been really good. But yes, I've also felt like I've been living in a little hole all to myself. I have no idea what you've been up to. I have no idea what all my other streaming friends have been up to. I feel quite bad. I haven't really engaged too much in my community. So I'm very sorry, guys, but I'm looking forward to getting back into it when I'm feeling ready.
Yeah, of course, ready. Sometimes you just need that little break. Like, I know, like, when I go hard on a game or something, after I'm done, I need to decompress, It's just like, and so it's like, I don't even want to touch a game or whatever. And I know you recently started a new job. So, you got a lot going on. So definitely. I think burnout is real. So yeah, when you're ready, you're ready.
Exactly. I appreciate your understanding. But yeah, it really is. It's one of those things that I've found very difficult to accept is that you can burn out from the things you enjoy. And it's important to take a break.
And especially like when I hear people are like, oh, but in the streaming space, if you take a break, an extended break, they're just going to forget about you and blah, blah, blah. But you know what? I say to that, like, if you're forcing yourself to do something you don't love, it shows also.
It does.
Right? So you're just not going to be having fun. The viewers aren't going to be feeling it either, and they'll just tune out as well. So I feel like it is better once, you are rested and you're ready. Like you were just talking about, like you were looking forward to some of the games. So it's like, I could already see like your eyes like spark up and everything, right? So we'll wait until Flute is nice and ready.
Exactly. And it's like, it's a full on roll-on effect, right? Of like, you're not feeling up for it. You watch content back, you go, oh, I didn't like that content that I put out. Demotivates even further.
Right. It's like a cycle. Yeah, never-ending cycle type of thing. So
it is.
You're breaking it and you're going to make it better. It's gonna
exactly. We'll get back into it. But Calyx, what have you been up to?
Wow. I know I mentioned I started on Wildermyth Omen Road DLC, and the whole month I've just been going hard on that. It's I just finished it. Yes, I declared finished because I finished a campaign twice. The first time on Tragic Hero, second time on Walking Lunge, and I also completed the level peril 21, which is the highest peril you can do.
So what's the difference between like the difficulty levels and the perils?
The difficulty levels, there's like story mode, adventure mode, Tragic Hero, so it's a little bit harder. And then there's Walking Lunge where you're just delighted in like the hardest difficulty and just love to be stressed out and whatever. It's like the hardest difficulty they have.
I love the word it's called. Walking Lunch is very funny to me.
Exactly. So we just completed that yesterday and I feel like I'm 100% achieved. Did 100% achievements. So I
Wow.
feel like, yeah, I'm not stopping because I don't like the game, but we got a lot more games to still do. And I've
Mhm.
been, like I said, going hard for a month on it. I feel like, yeah, we're done. We're at a good spot. But yeah, I can't say enough good things about this game. It's I feel like a lot of people maybe not turned off, but don't notice it because the art is kind of too cutesy or charming or whatever.
Mm.
But it's got a pretty detailed combat system. It's really fun, and I really hope that other people will give it a try. But I don't know, I had a blast. Smash. Hubby, he even finished the peril levels as well. He finished it before me even. He was going harder on it than
Wow.
me. So yeah,
Oh my
he's
goodness. That's awesome.
exactly. So like it's so good. It's so good. The campaign, it was the longest one yet. It brought
Really?
back, yeah, it brought such the feels. I got emotional sometimes. It was like, because they threw back, did call back to like, the other campaigns from the base game. I saw some of my legacy characters pop in. I was like, oh, this is so
Oh,
great.
that's so sweet.
Yeah.
I am so glad to hear that you continued loving it because it sounded like you loved the base game. I remember loving the
hmm
base game, and it's really nice that the DLC has stood up to the high standards set there.
High standards. This is the key word. I'm glad you brought that up because it's like I they're a small indie company or whatever, but I just really appreciate their level of standards that they put out. Remember last time we talked about early access and stuff, I felt like
Mm-hmm.
they used it appropriately. They didn't abuse it. They didn't charge for early access. They didn't try to do it. They don't do any MTX. It's like all these things like I love about them, and I just feel like they're honest and legit and passionate. The sad
That's
news is
awesome. Mm?
they're winding down and they're not putting out any new content. They have nothing in the pipe works, and they said they're entering a hibernation mode.
No,
Um,
like the whole company, the whole development team.
yeah, I mean it's really small, right?
Oh.
So yeah, they're just doing that, and they just they let us know it's like it's not because the game's not doing well. It is. They
Mm-hmm.
said according to the Steam Steam numbers or whatever, well, whatever numbers that they're using, I guess really. But yeah, they just again they want to take a break, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
and they feel like this game is done, so they're they don't want to do any more with it. So no new content, but they're gonna anything that was in the current pipeline will still be finished up. Like I think
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's stuff like maybe more translations or localizations. I guess like yeah, stuff like that. Um, did they say port to console? I don't remember all of them, but yeah, they said whatever's in the pipeline is still gonna get done. The merch shop will still be open, but they're winding down, and they said if they have another passion project, if they have another passion project,
Yeah.
they'll let us know. So, and they're one of
Oh,
the
neat.
companies, I don't care what they put out, I will be there launch. I
Yeah.
just love them so much. So yeah, I will support them. But yeah,
Oh,
that's what I've been up to. What about
well,
you? Are you still in Guild Wars 2?
I'm still on Guild Wars 2, but before we move on too far,
Okay.
I have to say I'm so happy to hear that it's not because Wildermyth didn't do well, because Wildermyth
Right.
deserved to do well.
hmm
Clearly, they had a vision for that game and they went for it, and I'm
Yes.
so glad to hear it's still good and successful. But yeah, clearly they seem to only go things they're passionate about. So it's a pity that they're
Yeah.
winding down, but I hope they do
hmm
something really cool in the future.
Yeah. Same. 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 I just wanted
Very
to
cool.
add though, but like you said, like I feel like I said, they're not trying to milk it, and like you said, they had a vision. They stuck to it. They're not trying to extend it just for the money's sake or something. I just feel like they had a vision. They kept to it, and a game can because a game can end. It doesn't have to go on
Mm,
forever, right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, I think it
As
was a good
sad as it
time.
can be when we really love them,
Yeah,
sometimes
exactly.
it's
I was like
healthier.
feeling a little sad, but yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, this is wonderful.
Yes.
But
So what about you
yeah,
then?
yeah, I've been really going hard on Guild Wars still having a great time with it. It's such an
hmm
interesting MMO to me. Um, I've played a variety of other MMOs, and they tend to all follow the same progression system of, you go through your leveling phase and then you get your first kind of dungeon raiding set. And that's honestly probably very weak at that point in comparison to what's at endgame. And you're just doing a constant gear grind to stay relevant. And that's kind of your big motivating factor is that it's usually a very long process and you enjoy playing, but your motivating factor is to get stronger through better gear.
Yes.
And Hemi and I finished the leveling process of Guild Wars 2 and we got to level 80 and we were shocked to find you can buy almost the best gear just as soon as you hit 80, very cheap off player trading. And we went,
wow,
what do we do now? Like, we know there's lots of content in the game, but it's like, what are we working towards? And it's been interesting seeing creators in that space try to give people ways to progress or be like, oh, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this, because the game is very bad at presenting those to you. But it's been so much fun because we've set our own goals. There are progression systems after your leveling and outside of gear. We started to get really cool mounts. And then you can progress, almost level up your mastery of those mounts. So they start to be able to do their things better. And now we can go back to old zones and traverse them so much better because you've got a bunny who can hop super high to get over those cliffs or walls or whatever it is.
Do the different mounts do different things? Like because you mentioned bunny jumping. Oh,
it's so cool. The mounts themselves have so much personality. They have to be some of the best mounts I've seen. Lost Ark had some amazing mounts, but Guild Wars mounts are so cool. The animations are great. They have ramp up to how quickly they can move, and then they have a little bit of slow down when you need to stop. Each of them feels different to move, and that's very cool.
So what kinds are there? You mentioned the rabbit. Is there there must be a flying one? Is there
that was our latest big grind, was unlocking the griffin. Which was the first introduced flying mount. And it doesn't go, well, Hemi's been mastering it much better than I have. It's mostly a very long distance gliding mount. So you get up to a nice high point, you jump, it does some flaps, and then it kind of glides and then maintains altitude from there. But that kind of unlocking mastery system I talked about, you start to be able to dive to pick up speed, and then you can come back up, and you can, if you do it right, you can actually gain more height than you started with.
Oh, okay.
I'm not good enough at that yet. I'm struggling with it. But Hemi is having
so you're just kind of
so
just going down.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, I'll dive, and then I lose momentum, and I'm not able to pull up again.
Okay.
So I'm like, this didn't help me at all. But they're so cute. There's a raptor that has a super long jump to get over big gaps. There's a little skimmer beetle to go really quickly over water and quicksand and stuff like that. Not beetle, almost like a stingray. It's quite a cool design.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a
Are you
jackal
just surfing on top of it?
There's what, sorry?
Oh, I was just saying, so are you surfing on top of it if it's a stingray type of thing? Are you on top of it? Yeah, okay.
It's jet propelled stingray, so it hovers on top of the water.
Gotcha. Okay. Pretty cool. Yeah, this is all new to me. All right. Yeah, go on.
There's a teleporting jackal, and it was quite fun because we played through the expansion that gives you all of these mounts slowly but surely. And that's the Path of Fire expansion. And it was so much fun because I got to play with Hemi and another friend of ours, and we got to kind of talk about these mounts as we got them. And the ones we were looking forward to didn't necessarily end up being our favorites because they're almost like a piece of the terrain puzzle. So you don't necessarily use them all the time. You use them for specific situations. So the jackal we were all super excited about. We're like, oh, cool sand dog. And then it ended up being a little bit tricky to use and really only useful for certain parts of the map. I still love it, but it was just an interesting experience. But yeah, all sorts of stuff there. We haven't even gotten into raids yet. And
wow.
Yeah, we've just been experiencing all these different areas of the game that are outside of what would normally be the dungeon raid, etc. Get more loot, dungeon raid, get more loot, dungeon raid, get more loot kind of grind. So sometimes I do get stuck. I'm like, what do I want to do now? And then suddenly we'll be like, let's unlock the griffin, or let's go do all these festival achievements and get the reward for that. And suddenly it's like, oh yeah, this is fun again. Very good.
Did you try the fractals?
I have. We've only just started, so we haven't done the hard ones.
Yeah. It just keeps progressing. But okay, so it's like you unlocked 80 and you unlocked like all the, not end game for like in terms of power creep, but all the other things to do, like all the grinds, right? So
yeah, and we
what
haven't
about
even
legendary
finished.
Weapons?
We haven't even started legendary weapons.
Exactly.
We want to, but it's like, that is such a grind.
Yes.
But we haven't even finished all the story stuff. I will say, the first 2 expansions that we've played through now, amazing. Like, really cool. Incredible map design on each. The first expansion, the map traversal was much harder. It was very multi-layered. What's the term for like...
Elevation?
Yeah, lots of verticality. And you really have to get your masteries for being able to get through that verticality. So it was so hard getting in there without being able to glide or like bounce on mushrooms or whatever it might have been. The second expansion stuff was so much cooler, I think, just because it was like a puzzle. You unlocked all these mounts and then the mounts solved certain areas of the map for you. But they were such cool expansions, quite neat storytelling, always interesting stuff to unlock. And then I was like, I want a very specific thing from the most recent expansion. So I skipped the 3rd one, went straight to the 4th one, which again you can do because it's all same power level, which is very cool, I think.
Yes, I think that is very cool, yeah.
The newest one is part of their new plan to do an expansion every year. And I think it's definitely the worst.
Okay.
Which is unfortunate to say, just in the fact that I was so impressed by the first 2. And then I was like, I want this very specific one from the 4th one. I'll jump in. I won't even pay all that much attention to story because I want to like play the whole story through properly. Yes. I just want this one achievement. And I looked it up. It was like, you just have to get to this chapter in the story and get this achievement. I was like, that's fine. You can usually skip to a certain chapter, but to skip there, it required you to be at chapter 6. I was like, that'll also be fine. All these other expansions have had nice little story segments. You go into a specific zone, you play out the story, you come out fairly, like not too long, easy as. This recent expansion just felt like it went back to the standard MMO padding. It was like, talk to this person for a few seconds. Okay, now go and just grind stuff on the map for a while. And talk to this person for a few seconds and grind stuff on the map for a while. I was like, what happened?
Yeah.
And it seems like there was a lot of player backlash over it. So hopefully the following expansions will be a bit better.
Yeah, I hate when they do that. It's like artificially extending your playtime through a grind. You know, like they want you to open up and play the game, but it's like it's not engaging or anything. It's like forced play or something, right? Because you have to, in order to get that achievement, you gotta, you're just forced to do extra fluff or something. It's not even, whatever.
But what I was surprised by, because like legendary weapons, there are grindy aspects of Guild Wars.
Oh yeah.
But I was just so surprised that it was the main story. None of the other main stories had you grind stuff out in this very specific way. So,
Was this achievement tied to a title, amount? Oh, what was this?
It was, okay, so it was for something that was quite cool, in that it unlocked a new weapon for every single class to be able to use.
Oh, okay.
So I was very excited about this because it meant that my Mesmer could get a rifle that heals people.
Okay.
Which I thought was quite fun, and I wanted a healing weapon for her.
Yes.
And my druid got maces. That was another like melee healing option. Because the druid has a staff that can heal, but it's kind of honestly not very interesting. So I was really excited about these maces, and they're so good, and my druid feels so good, and I'm so happy now.
So it was worth it.
It was worth it. It was just a pain in the ass. But yeah, and I resubbed to Final Fantasy 14 because they've got a new expansion coming out.
Oh my gosh, yes, we need to talk about that too.
Yeah,
Hubby and I are talking about that. He's actually today, he tried to log in because he's like, we got to do some prep work. He's like, they're giving, if you pre-order, you get a 30% EXP bonus, I don't know, ring or something, he said.
Yeah.
But he can't log in. It's
Really?
always a process. Yeah, because this is not the first time. Like logging in, like after, we've, unsubbed and everything, resubbing is such a process.
Oh
but
my
it
God.
sounds like it went really smoothly for you, but
No.
for us, okay. All right. Yes, it's such a process. So
I have so much to say on this. But yes, go for it.
No, I just are you done with Guild Wars 2? I didn't want to cut you off.
Yeah.
It's just
Anyway.
like you were talking about that. I'm like, yes.
Still having a great time with Guild Wars 2 is the general premise. And I'm getting that MMO itch out of my system with it, which is quite cool. Yeah. But anyway, Final Fantasy 14.
Yes, let's get into that. Yeah, so I mean, it's perfect timing because I was like, I finished off Wildermyth and I was like, what are you going to do for the next 2 weeks? Because Final Fantasy comes out like the 27th or something, early access, and then official one's like July 2nd or 3rd or something like that. But yeah, and they're doing early access, sounds like proper way. They're not, charging for early access. It's just
How do you get into early access then?
just by pre-ordering. And I asked Hubby, I was like, so what's the point of it then if, like, let's say you purchase it now or like during the, on the 27th? And his feeling was, this is not, official, but it sounds like maybe that way, if there's, server issues, bugs, logging in, that's not part of the official release date. So when the officially comes, they'll have worked it out, hopefully, over the weekend or whatever. So we think that's what it is, but we're not 100% sure about that.
It might also, so they're not charging more for pre-ordering?
I don't think so. No, when we asked a friend that's been playing it, she continuously plays it. Like she's been playing it this whole time. She just says, yeah, you just got to pre-order it. And it's just, when I looked on Steam, there's just one price. Well, there's this, like the regular and then the deluxe version, but you get like more stuff with the deluxe version. But it's not, you're not paying like 10 extra bucks for early access or anything.
Right.
So.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I wonder if then it's a way to like stagger how many people are coming back in so that they don't have that one day where everyone hits the servers.
Exactly. So like like I said, so if there's like server issues or, login bugs, or when you first log into a game, there's bound to be something, going wrong. I don't think anyone's had a perfect launch type of thing, right? So I feel like, they're just, like I said, I don't know if it's the real reason, but I feel like, they're just like making sure, and like you said, staggering it, because there's going to be a whole slew of people who want early access and other people, trickling in type of thing too. So yeah,
absolutely. I think that's probably a smart way to do it.
But you're coming back. I didn't know you played this. So you didn't play WoW, but you played Final Fantasy 14.
I did, yes.
Okay. What did you play? Let's start with that.
Okay, so I'll be very brief. I have a very on and off relationship with Final Fantasy 14.
Oh, same,
Because, oh my God, way back in the day, a friend of mine really wanted me to play it. He bought me the physical disc for Final Fantasy 14.
Oh my gosh, okay, yes.
And I was like, I wasn't super keen at the time, but I'd been bought it. I was like, okay, I'll try it. I loaded it up. I had a lovely time just with the world. I was so enraptured. I'd made a cute dragon girl. She was adorable. I loved her. And I loaded into Limsa. If you're not familiar with Final Fantasy XIV, it is potentially my favorite hub town in any MMO. It's the seaside town made of white stone, very piratey seaside vibes. I live very close to the sea in New Zealand. You can't get far from it. You've got like the wave splash and the seagulls, the chatter of people around. It's gorgeous. It's such a lovely town. Easy to get lost in, but I loved it. But I didn't love the leveling process. I didn't love that there wasn't voice acting for a lot of it. And
it's quite the grind.
Yeah, I kind of bounced from it. But it also always stayed in my mind because I was like, my character was so cute. I loved the world, music, lovely. Then I tried to come back a few years ago. I was like, I'll do some streaming for it. And because that disc copy had been a PC version, and I went through Steam, suddenly I had...
I know where this is going. Go on.
My character wasn't there. It was a totally new account. And I didn't realize that I could have stayed free to play because I'd had a new account. But instead I went ahead and bought like an expansion. And so suddenly I had to pay the monthly sub to be able to play. It's very confusing trying to start because you go through Square Enix, you go through the MOG station, you go through Steam. It's not super clear that if you do buy something, you lose your free player experience entirely.
Exactly.
It's a very frustrating process to even start playing 100%. The game.
100%. And like I said, and you mentioned, going back and forth, like, we always come back for an expansion and stuff, but, we don't play like the duration, like all 3 years or whatever. And it's like every time we resub, it's a process. It's like, what was the not password, but what was the username? Okay, this. Why isn't it working? And like you said, because you have to connect through so many things, Square Enix, MOG Station, Steam. I'm like, oh my gosh. So hubby's in that process right now. He tried to log in, he can't. So he's like, oh no. So I have to go through this process of like trying to figure it out, where it's from, like what's holding that up and everything. And the thing is, he's still so salty that he did not buy it through Steam. So he has to go through like their store to buy it. Like I bought mine through Steam, so I just buy it through Steam and it goes. But he's like, I don't like it because like you said, if he buys it through Steam, then he has to start all over. And he's like, I'm not starting all over. It's like it's a separate account then, right? It's not you can't just like merge the account, I guess, and have it go into Steam. He's like, nope, if he gets a Steam account, it's gonna be brand new, and he doesn't want to go through that hassle. So
the other one is then, of course, so like I said, and I've bounced on and off over the years, mostly just making characters and then kind of getting stuck in the leveling process. I dragged Hemi in last time, so last year I think, and we really stuck it out. We got all the way through the base game, but just to get him started, because his initial account had been linked to a US Square Enix account.
Oh gosh, yes.
He had to start all over again in New Zealand because he wasn't allowed to access it.
Yeah, exactly. What is going on?
So frustrating.
It's so frustrating to play. Exactly. And Zepla was going through the same process. She's a Final Fantasy XIV content creator. Yeah. And you heard about her. So she's like, she was in the Ukraine, but then because of all the stuff going on, she was, she's in the States and she can't get a copy of Final Fantasy to play. So right now she's kind of like, in limbo because she said something about she has an address or something, billing, I don't know, something in the UK, but it conflicts because she's living in the States right now. So she can't, exactly. So, she's going through the same thing that Hemi's going through. It's like, what the heck? So did Hemi have to buy a new, like he had to start over? Or what happened with him?
Yeah, completely.
Yeah.
Which, that immediately makes you want to not even start. And it's so confusing because it's such a lovely game. And why is there such a massive barrier to even start playing it?
Exactly. It's like they don't want my money. Well, they want the money, but they're making me jump through hoops to give it to them. It's like, here, take my money, but don't make me do a freaking gauntlet just to get to there. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Every time.
But so how far did you get into what expansion?
Okay. So again, I'm so conflicted on Final Fantasy XIV again. Because I love the world, like I said, and I still do. And I love the players, and I even enjoy the dungeons now that I do it. And I really missed the group play aspect, the like tank heal DPS after Guild Wars, because Guild Wars doesn't have that.
Exactly,
so that's kind of why I went, oh my God, this new Dawntrail update for Final Fantasy XIV, it's going to do a graphics update. It's going to look gorgeous. I'm loving the stuff I've seen from their media reveals. I'll pop in because I really miss that group play aspect. But God, we had heard that the first expansion, Heavensward, was really, really good and like a step up in terms of storytelling. Because we struggled with the leveling process storytelling. It was very cheesy. It was very just run back and forth to talk to this person about things that didn't feel very important with no voice acting. And look, I know lots of people love the leveling experience story. It just wasn't for us. So we were really pushing through. We were like, we're going to get to Heavensward. It's going to be amazing. And then you get stuck at like level 50 for almost an entire game's worth of post-base game storytelling before you get to Heavensward.
Yes, yeah, because it was that in-between period, like, you know, the base, well, they do it with every, like, expansion too, like, that part's done, and then they do several, like, patches to catch you up and move forward to the next expansion, so you're probably in that little in-between phase or something.
Yeah, so I really pushed through, because we wanted the classes that you unlock in Heavensward. I wanted Astrologian, Hemi wanted Dark Knight, and we pushed through, and I think we burnt ourselves out, just trying to, like...
I gotcha.
Bash our way through it. So I kept playing. I really enjoyed what I experienced of Heavensward. I was like, okay, I understand. This is definitely a step up from base game. But because Hemi was no longer playing with me, I kind of fell off. So that's where I still am and will not be able to get to the new expansion, but I'm still excited for the new expansion.
They do offer, I mean, you have to pay, but you can do a skip to the current content. So, I mean, I don't know if you want to do that, but they do have that option. But you'd miss out on the story part of it. And a lot of I feel a lot of the Final Fantasy XIV is the story. Although I'm not very good at the story because my memory isn't so bad. But I just know I just have like feelings of it. Like I know Shadowbringer was such an epic expansion for me. Like
I heard.
The song and the music were so awesome. The fights, like that's the one that is really iconic for me. I don't know. I had the best time, and Endmarket was good too. But yeah, so now we're wondering, what's Dawntrail going to be like? What is this? How are they going to reset type of thing, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, we're interested in finding out how that's going to work out. So are you playing Dawntrail then, or are you?
I probably won't be. I still want to jump in because I want to see the graphics update. It's gonna make my character look so pretty.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I feel like it would be such a waste. You know, everyone has these amazing memories and tells these grand, like, tales of their whole Warrior of Lights experience through the whole Final Fantasy XIV story. And I feel like it would be a real shame to miss out on that.
I hear you.
We'll see. But will you be playing and streaming Heavensward?
Dawntrail, I think.
Dawntrail, yeah.
Yeah. I hope not Heavensward because that was a long time. I don't want to go through that grind again. Yeah, that's the other thing. Like, I want to have another character. I know we touched upon it. Like, maybe it was last episode of Girls Like Game, but it was kind of like you know how like in other games you can have a different character for different class and everything, but in Final Fantasy it's all one character for all the classes, right? And I wanted to create a separate look for a separate class, but I would have to start all over again. I'm like go through the grind, find all the, you know, the waypoint type of stuff. And I'm like, I'm not doing all that again.
Right?
It's like a lot of work.
It is not alt-friendly. And it doesn't even carry over the settings. So like
Oh,
your
that
UI,
I don't know about that. Yeah, okay.
your custom UI, your custom settings, custom keybinds, all of that has to be redone for a new character.
Yeah, see that's another. Yeah, I'm not interested in that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was like, no. I created a bunny character, but I was like, yeah, I didn't play her. I just got through the cutscene. I was like, no, I can't really do this, guys. I'm like, no. But yeah, so I'm not sure. I'm on the fence on whether to stream it or not. I don't, because I do have a couple weeks till Final Fantasy 14. Actually, we can play it, but I hear there's like prep work to do because we finished Endwalker, but we didn't do the patches, that in between phase, in between the end of the, that one and going into Dawntrail. So we'd have to complete all that. I know my inventory's a disaster and all that. We got new computers since then. I'm sure the UI is all messed up. So that's going to be a couple days just fixing up right there. And plus, I'm not sure how it's going to work out in terms of, I will like it, but I feel like streaming it might be a little bit boring because it's just you're just leveling. I don't know. What did you feel when you were streaming it?
I also struggled because I know people love the Final Fantasy 14 story and I'd had requests to play it, but it's exactly that. It's like it's still an MMO. There's still a lot of repetitive grind or stuff that you would normally just skim read, click, 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 click. Fine, no problem. Suddenly you're reading out.
That takes time.
And so what should be quite a quick little leveling process, run back and forth, back and forth. Okay, done. Suddenly that's like 15 minutes.
Yes, exactly.
So it is a tough one. I haven't really figured out how to stream Final Fantasy 14 well, even though I'd like to.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm in that same boat. And also, talking from like a small streamer standpoint too, it's gonna be flooded with big content creators.
Yes.
So I'm gonna be at the bottom, right, towards the bottom, and people would have to scroll a lot to get down to even see me, right? So exposure is gonna be very low. So it's kind of like I'd be doing it. I always play just, because I enjoy it, right, type of thing. But that's just something else to consider too. Like I'm doing this to like low exposure then, right? So
yeah, it is something that's on your mind. Like I'm the same. I really want to play the games I'm excited about. But if I'm streaming it, I want to at least it be a game that other people want to see me stream. And if that's an MMO, like most MMOs have their established content creators. And outside of that, not all that many people want to watch you play the MMO all the way through.
Exactly. Especially since, like I said, they're going to have to scroll. Because those big games have tons of streamers, right? So with lots of streamers. So they would have to, like, you're not on the first page as, with some of these indie games, you can be on the first page. But yeah, for those big MMOs, they're going to have to... They'd have to sort from like lowest to highest and, weed out like maybe, a couple of people. But it's like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like it would be I don't know. It's got to be, and I don't want to say it's got to be worth it because it doesn't have to be that way. But I'm just saying, like, if you're going to stream, might as well, stream something that has a chance of exposure sometimes, maybe. I don't know.
And that people want to watch because I think you're the same. I like to stream because I like engaging with people while I'm playing the game.
Yes,
and if nobody wants to watch it and engage with it, why am I streaming it?
Yes, exactly.
So yeah, I've struggled. I've tried streaming MMOs a few times. It's never been particularly a great streaming experience.
Yeah, I struggle with it too. That's why I was wondering on your thoughts on that. But okay, I think we're gonna wrap it up there. And I just wanted to find out what's in your pipeline. I know you mentioned dipping into checking out Final Fantasy 14 new expansion. Are there anything else coming up for you?
Oh my gosh! So we've just had a big announcement period for games. And this is probably going to be this is probably going to be quite outdated because our episodes come out about a month after we record them. But still, some really exciting announcements, especially for the later half of this year. Meta for ReFantasia.
Okay.
Wild Name is the newest game from the Persona series developers.
Oh, okay.
And I've always wanted to get into the Persona series. I've never had the space to really be able to. This one looks very cool. I'd love to check it out. It's going to be an expensive game though, so I'll kind of have to wait and see when it comes out and if I really want to be playing it. Then we had some huge announcements for Dragon Age, the Veilguard.
Yes, I saw that.
And, okay, I was not interested at all. I was like, BioWare's washed. They're under EA. It's going to be another Andromeda situation. And it might still be. But they have been saying the right things ever since that announcement trailer a week ago. Like being able to customize your background and it being entirely single player. And they've just, I'm blanking on all the cool stuff that I got excited about, but the gameplay looked great. The details that are coming out sound right up my alley. So excited there.
Good news about that.
Right. Yes. And then Avowed from Obsidian is probably going to be coming out in the same time span. So I'm a little bit worried about that one competing with Dragon Age.
Timing of it, right? Okay.
But I'm also excited for that. So
I heard part of those announcements, Monster Hunter World, not Monster Hunter World, Wilds. They're gonna do crossplay.
Are they?
Yeah, so different platforms can all play together.
Oh my goodness, that's so exciting.
Yeah,
and it's going to be the first voice protagonist for Monster Hunter.
Oh, really? I didn't watch the whole thing, but okay. So yeah, I just saw crossplay. I was like, all right, I thought that was pretty cool. I don't know many games that do crossplay like that, so I thought that was pretty cool. I haven't really watched a lot of those like the summer game fests and all that kind of stuff, so I should really watch that. You know what we should do one day in the future? We should do like as long as it's, within your time zone and stuff too, we should do like a live like react and record it type of thing, right? Right? Like we're both on and both are and then we react to what they're saying and stuff, right? Okay.
I'd love that.
Tune in, guys. Yeah, we'll work on that. Okay, we'll make it happen.
Very good. So now you mentioned, you're looking at the new Final Fantasy expansion, but what are you going to be streaming or playing in the meantime?
Yeah, that's been on my mind. I've been waffling. I don't know. Like, I only have a couple weeks, right? So it's like, I don't think I can finish an entire game in a couple weeks, right? So maybe finish what I've already started. Like, I know I started Warhammer 40K Mechanicus, but even that was kind of early on. So I don't know if I could finish it in 2 weeks. King Arthur Legions 9, I only did 1 day of it. So I'm definitely not going to be able to finish that in 2 weeks. But I mean, I could further it on, but I don't know. I definitely don't like starting and stopping something. And this time I'll be starting, stopping, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I thought maybe RimWorld, because that doesn't really have a story per se, right? You can make your own, story around it type of thing. So just playing around in that. But or I could just stream Final Fantasy 14, the preparation for Dawntrail, because like I said, I didn't do any of the patches since we finished the story, but we just didn't do like the stuff leading up to Dawntrail type of stuff. So
gotcha.
I could do that. I think that would take 2 weeks. I don't know. If we want to level up another character. Hubby was like, he always plays a paladin. He's thinking maybe switching over to Black Mage. I always play White Mage, the healer. But I always like to have a tanky, just for when I'm grinding things on my own, like when you do the fates and stuff. I just feel like it's a lot easier to kill those things as a tank than it is a healer. So I always pick Dark Knight. Dark Knight's like my favorite. I love it.
I
love the
do
story
like
behind
Dark
it
Knight.
too. So yeah, you do too. Yeah, it's so great. So yeah, we might be doing that. I don't know. We're just we'll see coming up what we finally land on. It'll be a last minute decision, but yeah, probably most likely right now, as of today, leaning towards Final Fantasy 14. But if you had asked me yesterday, it was RimWorld. So we'll see what happens.
God, well, maybe you just play what you feel like on the day, and
Exactly, right?
See how it goes. Yeah,
It's
a
my
little bit of a
party.
limbo period. That's all right.
Exactly. What about you? Are you waiting? I know you're still on hiatus. Do you think?
Yeah. So my big one is I'm currently applying to go back to school. So kind of
Yay.
once I've got confirmation of that, it should start like mid-July. And then hopefully I can kind of have a lot of these stresses out of my life. And,
yes, exactly.
And that'll kind of be when I look to get back into streaming.
Gotcha. All right. We will look forward to that.
Woohoo.
All right, guys. That's a wrap for Girls That Game, episode 6. Second here. Just wanted to see if we wanted to talk about anything else. No, I think we covered it all. So that's going to be a wrap. For those that want to catch us outside this podcast, Flewt, where can we find you?
You can find me on YouTube and Twitch at featuringFlewt. You can also find me on TikTok at FT_Flewt, I think it is. We are on Spotify. So if you like to just listen to us without having to use up all your data on a YouTube video, do check us out there.
Yes, please do. And I'm AlteredCalyx. You can find me on Twitch, YouTube, Twitter /X under AlteredCalyx. And that's it for us. Thank you for tuning into episode 6 of Girls That Game. And we will catch you guys next time. Bye.
Bye-bye.